How's everyone doing? We're going to get started in a little bit. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. How's everyone doing? We're going to get started in a little bit. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. How's everyone doing? We're going to get started in a little bit. Just want to make sure everything's working all right. All right, your wish is your command. Everyone, I'm going to share with you what this program is all about. This is a CD set that was produced years ago, and it was pretty easy to find. But recently, it's been getting hard and hard to find. I'm going to share with you guys how you can get this program completely for free. It's very easy. You can go to any one of my videos. In the descriptions, there's going to be a link. You want to tap on the very first link. Tapping on the very first link, it's going to take you to a sales page. Now, if you don't want to read the sales page, that's perfectly fine. There are a couple of buy now buttons on this page. It's going to be one at the top, another one at the bottom. You can just tap buy now. Tapping buy now will take you to an order page. On this order page, you want to type in the specific coupon code, which is YWIYC. It could be all caps, all lowercase, it doesn't really matter. You just want to type in YWIYC as the coupon code. You can see if I put it in that coupon code, you're going to save yourself $500. Come back on the top, fill out your contact, billing, and payment information, and tap complete my order. You want to check your inbox a little bit, and if it's not in your inbox, you want to check your spam folder. If it's in your spam folder, you want to redrag that email back into your inbox. Tap in that email, and tap in that link in the email, and it's going to take you to this 14 audio series. Your wish is your command. How to manifest your desires. How to manifest your desires. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, what is this program all about? If you are following any of these people, such as Napoleon Hill, Bob Proctor, Jim Rohn, Joe Vitale, Tony Robbins, Earl Nightingale, Joe Dispenza, Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, Les Brown, Charlie Tremendous Jones, Cadet Robert, Ed Foreman, Joe Bauer, Grant Cardone, Dennis Whaley, Marshall Silver, Neville Goddard. This is definitely up your alley. If you're interested in the law of manifestation, if you are in the personal development niche, you want to follow through on this free CD set. Now, it's not going to come in a CD form. You're going to be digital downloading these files. You can put them in your MP3 player. You can stream it when you're driving, or you're folding laundry. You can listen to it anytime that you want. Now, I'm going to share with you important lessons that I received listening to the CD set. My brother introduced me to the CD set a couple years ago, and I started listening to it. And for the longest time, I was listening to personal development since in my early 20s. So I read through a lot of different books, and I tried to piece this puzzle together. It was so very difficult. I wasn't able to piece this puzzle together. Now, with Kevin Trudeau, he's going to make it very, very applicable, because it's not just about doing more manifestation, like getting buy some crystals, doing more astrological charts, where people tell him to get another reading. If the crystal is not working, buy harder, buy another crystal. There are 4 specific lessons in the CD set. So my name is John. I listened to this, and throughout this presentation, I'm going to take you on my own personal journey, primarily with my own physical health and how I use this system to better my own health. The first lesson you'll learn in this CD set is who to listen to. Who to listen to? Who should you be listening to? Number 2, the Teachability Index. Number 3, the Training Balance Scale. And number 4, the 4 steps to mastery, the 4 steps to learning. The very first lesson is, who do you listen to? Who do you listen to? Who do you listen to right now? So many people in your year. You may be subscribed to a whole bunch of YouTube subscribers, content creators online, or you have email subscribed. Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. There are 2 specific things you want to pay attention to. Number 1, listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. I know this sounds very simplified, maybe it sounds too simple, but these lessons, it takes about 5 minutes to learn, but a lifetime to master. Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Coming to my own personal example, there was a season in my life, a long season, I was weight loss rebounding. What that means is I will work hard at the gym, calorie count, my fitness pal, lose a couple of pounds, gain it all back, and then some. If you know what I'm talking about, if you experienced some weight loss rebound, put it in the comments. Let me know what you experienced. Then the only thing that I knew back then was, hey, you got to be at the gym. You got to get yourself a personal trainer. You got to do more reps, got to do more sets at the gym. And that's what I did. I was living in downtown San Diego at the time, Southern California, and there was a 24-hour fitness in the Horn Plaza. So I would go there, and then, of course, these personal trainers would pull up. They'll be like, hey, I could become your personal trainer. The problem that I had with that 24-hour fitness was those personal trainers, they were even more out of shape than I was. I don't know why that was, but they'd be pulling up. But we had this tendency to listen to people. They have the certifications. They went through some schooling for this, and we just assume they know what they're doing. So I go in, sign up for personal training, and I was still doing that weight loss rebound. Make a little bit of progress, lose 3 pounds, and gain it all back. 5 pounds, 6 pounds. I was doing this yo-yo thing. Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. And you want to expand this out and specifically focus on physical health. Give you guys another example. A couple months ago, I took my family member to the hospital, to the ER. It was pretty serious. Long story short, we're at the ER. First thing they're going to tell you is you got to run a bunch of tests. We got to get your vitals. The vitals means your respiratory rate, your heart rate. Going to do your blood test, your blood sugar, right? They're going to send you on a whole bunch of errands. Going to do your ECG, electrocardiogram, or EKG. Then you're going to be doing some x-rays. You're going to spend about an hour and a half just running around. Then they're going to come back and they'll be like, well, now you're going to talk to these doctors. They're going to go through reports. They're going to tell you what's going on. Well, these doctors, they pull up and be like, hey, listen, we got these values out of range, within range. Out of range, within range. Look at your ECG, EKG is like, oh, this is very problematic. And they're going to upsell you to the next set of procedures, operations, maybe have you stay over at the hospital overnight. Nothing I share is professional medical advice, diagnosis, treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician, qualified health providers, any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Now we got that out of the way. All I'm saying is, we pull up to these people at the ER, these hospitals, personnel, and number one, they were out of shape. They look extremely exhausted, tired, and they're always critiquing you, right? And some of them, they're overweight. Now, in a situation where there's acute injury, trauma injury, somebody got into a motorcycle accident, car accident, yes, they're going to be able to fix you up. But most people, if you take a good tour at your local ICU, people are not there because they got into a motorcycle accident or car accident. They're there because of chronic diseases, multiple organ failures, liver failure, kidney failures. We're talking about swollen edemas. You see a whole bunch of people with jaundiced faces over there. Chronic diseases. When these doctors are so quick to critique your body, your lab results, it's time, an opportunity for us to kind of put it back in their direction. Hey, doc, maybe we got to check your vital signs. How's your blood pressure today? Let's take a quick look at where's your blood sugar level at. Are you dealing with any chronic diseases? Do you have diabetes? Do you have liver problems? Do you have hypertension, high blood pressure? All I'm saying is we've been listening to all the wrong people. Because before I had a bunch of problems with my own personal health, I got nasal congestion, I got joint pains. What do? Go to the doctor, they say you gotta go take these meds, go to the pharmacist, pick these up. So I go do all that. And what happens next? I do not feel better. I get progressively worse. It doesn't make any sense, right? So who do you listen to? Start to evaluate everything. Instead of going down on that path, I went on a complete different path. I started to listen to people in the holistic side of things, naturopathic doctors. I was very aggressive about it. So it's just a little bit of myself. Part of what I do, I teach people how they can lose weight, but not in the traditional sense of how people lose weight, going to the gym, eating right, exercising. People need to learn how they can clean themselves from the inside. I have a program called the Mega Poop Transformation Challenge. Lose 3 to 5 pounds per month without going to the gym. It sounds kind of ridiculous, but I've already coached hundreds of people around the world. And what this is about learning about your body, human physiology, just what is your digestive system. See, back in 2015, this is me in California. This is in San Diego. They had an internet marketing event downtown. I was there. And the last couple of years, I never experienced any weight loss rebound. I looked like this pretty much all year round. How did I do it? Well, I started to learn a lot about my digestive system, how I could clean it out comprehensively. I was dealing with chronic constipation. I had to remove the waste material and go from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. As we're talking about Kevin Trudeau's "Your wish is your command," you need to listen, pay attention to, and reevaluate who are you listening to right now. Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Just a quick look on Kevin. This was the first book that I read by Kevin Trudeau. Natural cures they don't want you to know about. If you want to learn about holistic ways to recover your health, naturopathic ways, and there's going to be a lot of things you may feel uncomfortable, this is the book to read. I highly recommend you guys go read this book. He was on the New York bestseller list for over 20 weeks with this one book. So there are many things that you can do to go through these lessons. The first lesson was, who do you listen to? Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. I started listening to these naturopathic doctors, holistic health practitioners, and as you observe their life, they're not going through a whole bunch of roller coasters. Many people in the fitness realm, there's always something that is wrong. They're physically looking strong, right? But they always have these setbacks. I don't care if it's a sports injury or they're chronically getting sick. Every couple of months you're getting sick. But for those folks that are in the holistic health, naturopathic way, they're just steady as rock, and every single year their health is getting better and better and better. Isn't that where you want to be? And I want you guys to be even more selective when you're picking a personal trainer for yourself in the future. For example, let's just say if you're in your 40s, you're a lady, you had a couple of kids, and your body's been through a lot of hormonal changes, thyroid issues. It doesn't make sense for you to go to a 21-year-old personal trainer and expect this person to know how to fix you and get you back in shape. Because this 21-year-old doesn't know what you've been through and doesn't know how to take you to your destination. Always combat these two principles. Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Maybe you got to listen to a personal trainer a little bit older, but they understand what you've been through. They went through thyroid problems. They went through fluid retention, this problem and that problem. And they're on the other side of things where they don't have these problems anymore. They don't weight loss rebound. They don't get a hit with their personal health. Everything's as steady as rock, right? They're not going to the hospital for this, that, and the third. And they're not always questioning what is wrong with my body all the time. Many people around the world, that's what they're questioning. Why does this bad stuff always happen to me with my body? There was a season of my life and I was in my late 20s. Just one bad thing after the next, it was happening. And I'm just thinking, I just somehow went through something and then something else attacks me. And then something else. It's just like I was spiraling down out of control. Have you ever felt like that in your experience in your own personal health? Who are you listening to? Can these doctors really take you to the promised land? Can your family doctor really take you to the right specialist to turn your health around? Well, use your eyes. Observe. If these people are not healthy themselves, maybe they can't really take you to the promised land. And what do you have to do? You have to expand your knowledge base, expand your exposure to new information, information that may be currently off your radar screen, information that may seem a little bit uncomfortable when you first start hearing it. So that's the first lesson. And for those of you just jumping on, if you want to get this program for free completely, it's very easy. You just want to tap on that first link. Tap on that first link, and it's going to take you to a sales page. Now you can just click buy now. Once you click buy now, you want to scroll down just a little bit. There's going to be an area where you can put in your coupon code. The coupon code is YWIYC. You want to hit apply. Once you hit apply, you can see the discount code is going to apply. You can get this program completely for free. Scroll back up to the top, fill out your contact, billing, and payment information. It's not going to charge you anything. They just want to find people who are actually serious about this program. You're going to tap complete my order. Check your email a little bit. If the email is not there within a couple of minutes, you want to check your spam folder. If it's in your spam folder for whatever reason, re-drag that email back into your inbox. Tap on that email. There's going to be a link that's going to take you directly to the 14 audio series, Your Wishes, Your Command, How to Manifest Your Desires. I'm sure many of you, you're watching these laws of manifestation videos, Neville Goddard. You want to be manifesting things in your life. And how Kevin teaches, it's a very practical way. And this will be demonstrated in this next lesson that he teaches. The next lesson in Kevin Trudeau's Your Wishes, Your Command is the Teachability Index. The Teachability Index. What is this all about? Another way we can say Teachability Index is the Coachability Index. How coachable are you? Many people say, I'm very coachable, I'm very teachable. How do you quantify something like that? With Kevin, you'll be able to quantify it very, very precisely. The first part is, what is your willingness to learn? What is your willingness to learn? You got to give yourself a score from 0 to 10. The second part is, what is your willingness to accept change? Also give yourself a score, an accurate assessment from 0 to 10. Now, what is your willingness to learn? Let's talk about that. How do you know you have a willingness to learn? You have to set aside your favorite activity and replace it with activities that can actually better your life. For most people, the only thing they look forward to is going back home. After they go back home, they're going to turn on Netflix, turn on Hulu, Amazon Prime videos, catch your favorite TV shows. They may be watching sports, fantasy football, going to the bar, drinking with their friends, heading out to the clubs, partying all out on the weekends, maybe take a flight out to Vegas. These could be top of the top activities they look forward to doing. You got to set aside that favorite activity and you're going to replace it with audios. You're going to replace it with books. You're going to replace it with courses, either online or in person. You got to be aggressively upgrading your knowledge base. Many people, they don't set that time aside to actually learn something. They just let the days go by, keep on watching the TV show, keep on watching, playing frisbee golf, whatever. So their willingness to learn is very, very low. Okay. So that is the first part. What is your willingness to learn? If your life is not moving in the right direction, take a really close look at this lesson. Number one, you got to give yourself a score on your willingness to learn. How many days out of 30 in a month are you actually putting in the work, setting aside your favorite activity, You're turning off the Netflix. You're canceling all these different subscriptions to TV shows. And now you're picking up that book. You're reading those audio books. You're listening to those audio books. You're taking some courses online. If you are doing 10 days out of 30, right, that's 33%. So you can give yourself a score of 3 out of 10. Objective, right? So that's the first part. So you have a willingness to learn, 3 out of 10. Next part is, what is your willingness to accept change? This is where rubber meets the road. Because many people, they're willing to actually buy something. They're willing to actually purchase, maybe like a P90X program. They got Taibo, they're on QVC. They bought some information regarding health. Maybe they got Peloton. So they buy these things, they're beginning to learn. But when it comes rubber meeting the road, says you got to be doing the exercises. But what is your willingness to accept change? And that's the part many people miss. For most people, their willingness to learn is practically zero. Because they're watching Tony Horton, the DVC set, he's doing all these exercises, he's doing the yoga, he's doing the presses, right? He's doing the abs exercises. And then people are just watching Tony and then they're eating potato chips. So people, they had that willingness to learn, they're picking up all these courses, or they're conference warriors. They fly in and out of cities, they go attend conferences, they make connections. When they go back home, it's a 0 out of 10 with their real application. They don't do anything with information. For many people, when they buy these different courses online or they attend these conferences, it gives them a false sense of progress. It's like, at least I'm doing something. But you're going to make progress when you actually increase your willingness to accept change. Let's just say if I read a book on detox, it's not going to help me do anything until I do the detox protocol myself. Doesn't matter if I have the whole detox protocol memorized, then I can have elaborate PDFs or PowerPoints explaining the detox protocol. I need to do the detox protocol myself. Let me tell y'all, since 2019, I haven't missed a week. Every single week, I'm doing something to better my health through detox protocol. Doesn't matter if I am cleaning out the small and large intestines comprehensively, removing the waste material. Next, I also been doing parasite cleanses. Many people, you are plagued with internal parasites you don't even know about. That will be extremely crucial if you want to recover your health. I didn't even stop there. I continue to learn about different organs in my body and how it could flush out gallstones from the gallbladder and also intrahepatic stones from the liver. Now, many of you, you're listening to what I'm talking about. You're like, I have no idea what we're talking about. And that's perfectly fine. I was in the same place. I felt intimidated by a lot of information that is out there, and I take my things step by step. But if I continue to increase my ability to learn, my willingness to learn, I continue to learn, and I increase my willingness to accept change, new information is going to be unlocked. Life is really a role-playing game. You have to improve your own character so you can unlock the next level. You're not going to go to the next level until you first unlock some very basic stuff for your own personal life. I wasn't going to be really diving deep into parasite cleanse until I had finished my first protocol, which is cleaning out the first small and large intestines. Then I moved my way up to parasite cleanses. And there was a season I knew about the liver and gallbladder flush. I was not strong enough to do it myself, right? Until 2023, I had a lot of joint discomfort. I had a lot of, I would just say my body was in pain every single morning that I woke up. I was sitting there at the coffee table in the living room, and a voice came to me. I'm pretty sure it was God who was speaking to me. He told me to reread the book from Andreas Morse, The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Flush, Andreas Morse, M-O-R-I-T-Z. There are specific ways how you can flush out gallstones out of the gallbladder. And I had to come grips with that. I said, if I want to go to the next level, I had to do this. I had to do it. So it's been a beautiful journey, right? You can see over the years, I definitely made a lot of progress. Before I was doing that weight loss rebound, and over here, look at this. I still remember the night we went out for a couple of drinks in downtown San Diego, and back at the time, I was putting on these jeans, and I was saying to myself, what is going on here? Why are my jeans so tight? They're so tight. Is it because I left them in the dryer too long? You know. But if you can look at my shirt was just, I was looking like a sausage. And these buttons, they were screaming at me. It's like, what are you doing to me, right? I still have this pair of jeans. I can put them on fine now. You know, I don't have any problem putting on these jeans now. But before, this weight loss rebound, and I just kept getting a little bit larger, kept getting a little larger every single year. Very frustrating. Until I started to unlock my physical health, which is cleaning out the small and large intestines, really identifying different parts of my body, how I could clean it out comprehensively, using all natural ingredients, right? I have a very specific protocol. I've been teaching people all around the world. And for those individuals that ignore the early signs of chronic constipation, they could be expecting toxic megacolon. They may be dealing hemicolectomies or colostomy bags. They may be doing anal anastomosis. They may be dealing with Crohn's disease, rectal prolapse. Going to the proctologist, they're going to identify all these different fissures that you may have, or abscesses and fistulas. Maybe they can help you remove some internal, external hemorrhoids. But let me just tell y'all, at the very top, we're categorically the same when it comes to the digestive system. This is the colon. This is the ascending, transverse, and descending portion of the colon. You got to get the waste material out of this colon first. Because the proctologists, they're going to be tinkering down here. But if you are still backed up here in the large intestine, you are going to have these problems come back at you. They're going to come back. And that's what they want. They want these problems to come back. So before I move on, I just wanted to see if anybody has any questions for me. What's going on? Any questions about the Teachability Index? We have a lot of things. I'll be sharing a lot of information today. Be happy to. And you have any questions for me? Be happy to go over any specific questions you may have. Yeah, just a very quick recap. Kevin Trudeau is very, very practical when he teaches the law of manifestation. It's not just about visualization. You actually have to do. It's not just about buying a new set of crystals. You actually have to do. You have to do things, right? Even if you don't make the most, if you don't do it right the first time, it's okay, you know? You take another crack at it. See, for me, I knew I had to get this waste material out of my body, and it took about a year and a half to 2 years before I had this formula down. Perfect. The proportions, everything. I was finding a lot of different recipes online, and many of them, they just were not working. They were not working. You see what I mean? And I had to find something, not just the proportions, but a way of drinking the salt flush solution that's going to produce and maximize the results. And that was a learning process. I'm still on this process. I'm still refining, you know, talking to people who have done my protocol, and I always check in with them, see how they're doing, see their progress. I've coached this program not just in English, coached it in Chinese, I translated it in Arabic. So it's all over the world now. Okay, before we jump on to the next lesson, I'm going to take a short little break. Not only that, I got a couple of things I want to click out of URLs. Okay, so we got that going. And then yesterday, I also shared this video. couple of things I want to share with y'all today. They're very powerful. It's just things you want to evaluate down the line. Give me a quick break. All right. The next lesson we're going to talk about is the training balance scale. The training balance scale. What is this all about? So think of the scale that tilts back and forth. On one side of the scale, it's about how you think and how you feel. Your why. Your dreams and goals, attitudes, your mental processes, your internal motivation. Okay. On the other side of the scale are the how actions, the specific techniques, the strategies, action steps, activities, and physical action. In the world of personal development, they always focus more on the how actions. They always tell you your specific techniques, you don't know the strategies, you don't know the action steps, you don't know the plans. This is the reason why you're failing. They always want to re-emphasize how you don't know certain information. And that's what's holding you back. According to Kevin Trudeau, that is not where you should be focusing on. You need to focus on how you think and how you feel. Your dreams, goals, attitudes, mental processes, vibration, internal motivation. It goes a lot deeper than just, oh, I know something, or I'm thinking positive now. I want to keep a positive mental attitude. Thanks for jumping on the call. You're for a treat because I'm talking about something very important. We're talking about the training balance scale, and we're going to talk about how this has a lot to do with our subconscious mind. Okay, this has a lot to do with our subconscious mind. Our subconscious mind rules all. What I mean by that is, in the conscious thinking, you have your short-term memory, logical thinking, your willpower, your decisions and analysis, and this is where most of personal development, they tell you to focus on. The unconscious thinking is your habits and beliefs, your true habits and beliefs, your values, your identity, your creativity, your self-worth and imagination, your true self-confidence is where it drives everything, your unconscious, subconscious thinking. Most people, they cannot get six-pack ass. Doesn't matter how hard they work, it's because the image inside of them doesn't have a six-pack. I'll tell you why that is. Many people, what do they do when they go back home from work? They start watching TV shows. I used to watch TV shows. What type of TV shows did I used to watch? I used to watch, King of the Hill. We got Hank over here. What else do we have? And there was a lot of reruns with Cheers when I was growing up. What else do we have? Homer Simpson. Who else do we have? Al Bundy, Married with Children. What else do we have? We have Family Guy. So you have these characters that's just sitting there in your mind all day, every day, in the subconscious mind. Those are your habits and beliefs that you're developing at all times. That's who you identify with. You're looking at Al Bundy, you're looking at Homer Simpson, listen to them, listen to their jokes, and you're like, oh, he's so relatable. And then who cares? I'm just going there, sitting down on my sofa, drinking beer. Who cares? Because I'm just like Al. I can be average, and I can do whatever I want. And when I was in high school, everybody watched The Simpsons, and the next day they talked about The Simpsons, and they look forward to The Simpsons when they go back home and finish their homework. That's what they look forward to. I mean, these characters are still out there. If you look closely enough, you will find the same characters, right? It's just in a different uniform, different setting, but the characters of this father figure in the United States is pretty persistent. Let me share with you how I was very persistent about getting back my six-pack abs. When I was in teenage years, I was working, I would say I was skateboarding all the time. I was playing basketball all the time. It was easy when you're teenagers to get six-pack abs. I always had an image of myself with a six-pack abs. But as I roll into my 20s, I started working very early. I started working at 18 in tech, in software tech. And I started getting to that office. I started to do, fast food eating. I wasn't very active, right? But in your 20s, if you want to get back into six-pack abs, all you got to do is play basketball throughout the whole summer. You get back to six-pack abs. And as you know, it becomes increasingly more difficult when you get into your late 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s. If you know what I'm talking about, give me some hearts, show me some love in the comments, let your brother know that you're here, all right? All I'm saying is, in the image, in my subconscious programming, I had the guy with the six-pack abs. And I was doing everything that I possibly could to get back to my six-pack abs. But nothing was working. Nothing was working until I learned about my digestive system, how I can clean it all out comprehensively. Many people out there, why can't they get a six-pack abs? Listen, if you're dealing with chronic constipation, residues of all feces that have been building up layers and walls of the colon, as they putrefy, they can cause health problems, pain, and discomfort. Listen, your boy was this guy on the left, okay, huffing and puffing on the toilet. Nothing was coming out. The struggle is real. Can we relate? If you can relate to the struggle, show me some love, okay? So I had to go on this path. What did I have to do? I had to listen to new people who have been where I was and where I want to be. Other people, they struggle with chronic constipation too. I wasn't the only one. Do you know how serious chronic constipation is? I looked at the keyword analysis for this. This data goes all the way back from 2004. Constipation, this keyword, is undefeated. What I mean by that is every single year, the number of people looking for chronic constipation relief is only growing year over year. Doesn't matter if they're keying this keyword in English, in Spanish, in French, in German, in Portuguese, in Chinese, in Russian, everybody in the world struggling with chronic constipation. So what did I have to do? I had to increase my willingness to learn. Whatever that I was doing wasn't working before. And that's what you'll learn in Kevin Trudeau's Your Wish is Your Command. You have to increase your willingness to learn. Maybe you have to learn from people that are outside of scope of awareness. And that information may come across as a little bit daunting or uncomfortable. Because prior to doing all that, all I knew was I'm chronically constipated. I'm going to go to the pharmacist. I'm going to pick up some laxatives. They will work in the short term. But what happens? They stop working. They stop working. They stop working. Did I say they stop working? They stop working. Not just me. Many people out there, they have the same exact struggles. There are entire Facebook pages out there that deal with chronic constipation. I'm not talking about a few hundred people in there. I'm talking about tens of thousands of people. Look at how people are just keying it on Google, into YouTube, on Facebook, and just sharing with the world what they're struggling with. All home remedies, OTC, laxatives, enemas, dietary changes, additions, nutritional oils, quit working last month all of a sudden. The ER couldn't reach it, and their enemas didn't work. The highest doses of lenses does nothing. And the Miralax colonoscopy prep is giving me overflow diarrhea. Small bits are coming off the impaction. Prop in the hospital, enemas against Saturdays. What else can I do? I feel like the impaction is way too big to get out, and it seems like nothing is softening it enough. Y'all, people are writing entire novels out there about their chronic constipation problems. And when you go to the doctor, they always tell you just take more laxatives. You go from the OTC, over the counter, and you work your way up to prescription strength. And what happens after all that? They stop working, every last one of them. I had to increase my ability to learn, increase my willingness to learn from different naturopathic doctors, but not only that, I had to increase my willingness to accept change. which is actually doing the protocols themselves. My Mega Poop Transformation Challenge, lose 3 to 5 pounds per month without going to the gym. This is a real program, okay? And if you're interested, you can get that program. But coming back to Kevin's program, give you guys this program, how you can get it for free. All you got to do is tap on this link in my descriptions. This is a free program. And the way that you get it, you got to have the coupon code. You're going to tap on that link in my descriptions. You're going to tap buy now. Tap buy now will take you to this checkout page. And you want to type in the coupon code YWIYC. You want to be hitting apply. Once you hit apply, you want to come back on top, fill out your contact, billing, payment information, complete your order, check your email a little bit. If it's not there, check your spam folder. If it's in your spam folder, we drag it back into your inbox. It's not going to charge you anything. They just want to find people who are actually serious about this program. So we went through a couple of these lessons. I want you guys to really sit with yourself. The training balance scale, how you think and how you feel at a very, very core level. Talking about this unconscious thinking, what's beneath the surface. And one way you can evaluate what's actually underneath the surface is when you're just folding laundry by yourself with no music, what is really cranking in the back of your mind? Is it thoughts of disappointment of the past, or maybe arguments, or you're having imaginary conversations, but they kind of always course in a very negative slant, or you're worried about the different headlines that you see in the news, and you're in a constant state of anxiety? That's really what's down here. This is the guy that is driving everything. And you wonder why you just keep on stumbling into bad people, places, situations, circumstances at all times. Because that's how you truly feel about the world around you. Until we can really dig down into our subconscious mind, reformat it, and reprogram it with our desires. Napoleon Hill, he wrote the book, Think and Grow Rich. He did not write the book. You got to know all the action steps. You got to know the specific techniques, then get rich. He told you to think and grow rich, and outlined a lot of specific directions in that book. But what all these guys are targeting, they got to listen, they got to talk about the subconscious mind. They got to find a way to really reinstall new habits, new beliefs, new identities, new self-worth, new imagination, new self-confidence. When you get this guy in the right direction, everything will line up. Everything will line up, okay? My blueprint in my body was, okay, I want a six-pack abs. If this wasn't working, I'm going to keep on looking for the next thing. If that next thing wasn't working, I'm going to keep on looking for the next thing. I read through hundreds of natural health books, hundreds. And I had to piece together what worked, what doesn't work, right, for myself. And I shared it with my own family. It worked very well for them. After I got it down to a pretty good formula, and I said to myself, hey, this is good enough for our small group. Maybe it's good for other people too. And other people have tried it and found profound success. So, one step at a time. Do you have any questions for me? Who's on this call? Is it my friend from Puerto Rico? What's going on? It's a little early for Puerto Rico, isn't it? What time is it out there? Who's on here? Where's from? Where are you guys from? It would be helpful if you just let me know if you can hear me okay. If I need to increase my volume, I can do it. I'm not an expert at any of this, really. I just started doing this and just live thing, you know, working with some software. All right. I want to give you a tool that could be very helpful on reinstalling your subconscious mind. As I've discussed before, most people, most Americans, they follow Hank Hill. You know, they had a lot of Cheers reruns in their subconscious mind. Homer Simpson. Okay, we got Al Bundy. We got this guy from Family Guy, right? You know, they don't really put up deceivers, growing pains. I don't know if any of y'all remember this family. I thought this guy was very wholesome. Okay, the father figure, right? He demonstrated really good leadership, you know, positivity, and being a really good family. They don't want to highlight this guy, but they're always going to highlight some loser like these guys, right? So it is a, if you have more junk food, such as these guys, it's not going to overpower if you just, basically this guy's really not existent in your subconscious mind. I want you guys to take a quick look at this iceberg. This guy is driving your future. What does that future version of yourself look like? What are the habits and beliefs, the identities, the self-worth, the imagination, the self-confidence? I'm going to share with you something I've been using the last couple of weeks, and I'm thinking this is very, very powerful, okay? So this is if you want to learn a little bit more about ChatGPT, you want to learn how to work with AI, right? You can actually create a future version of yourself. How you can turn your ideal future self into a personalized AI coach in just 60 minutes. Now, maybe a little bit slow. It took me longer than 60 minutes, but my coach in this, he's also a personal mentor of mine. His name is Brad Costanzo. He came out with this very recently, and he's only selling for $10. And I highly recommend y'all to take a quick look at this program, because if you want change, okay, you got to create a new version of yourself from the inside. And you got to get some type of a coach. But you can actually create a coach that talks just like you, that communicates in the style that you prefer. Brad can teach you how to do that. And you don't need to be a software developer. You don't need to be a coder. You just need to learn how to copy and paste. If you know how to follow directions step by step, okay. I know it sounds kind of ridiculous because a lot of people can't follow directions 2025. I've experienced this myself. I tell people, if you want to get the results that I show you right now, I have a specific set of directions. You got to get yourself some measuring cups. You guys understand? You're going to measure them out. Water, you know, the juices, everything measured out specifically. If you don't do that, you're not going to get the results. Same thing with Brad's program. If you want to turn your future self into a personalized AI coach in just 60 minutes using 3 simple prompts, he followed through on his Notion doc, and he has these prompts in there, and he's copy and paste into ChatGPT. Now you're going to have to upgrade your ChatGPT a little bit to the $20 per month version, because you have to unlock a feature, which is projects, and you're going to keep on working with it, and refine that future version of yourself. Because we got to reinstall this unconscious thinking. The unconscious thinking Kevin talks about is training balance scale, how you think and how you feel at the very core level. When nobody's talking to you, when you're not just distracting yourself with music, sitting alone there in your car, or you're folding laundry by yourself, what's really cranking in the back of your mind? Can you rewire that part of yourself? Because that is the part that is driving everything else. And you have to make some very, very tough choices. Maybe there are some certain TV shows I'm not going to watch anymore. And when I talk about that, what am I talking about? My teachability index. What is my willingness to learn? Maybe my favorite activity before was watching these TV shows. Now I'm turning those off. I'm going to replace it with positive programming. Maybe I got to listen to some positive motivation to begin. And over time, I'll be led to other information that's going to better my life. You're either going to focus on your health, your finances, or your relationships. You pick one, okay? And if your health is not in a good place, just from personal advice, I highly will recommend doing that first, because some people, they always put health in the backseat. They don't focus on their health. I'm going to tell you what that happens. When you just don't prioritize your health the right way, they're going to just take advantage of you. in the medical industrial complex. I don't know how else to put it. If you know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments. So today we went over a lot of content. We went through who do you listen to, went over the teachability index, we went over the training balance scale, okay, how it relates to the subconscious mind, but there are tools out there that can help you reshape this unconscious version. I put up this link, which I'll also put in the comments later, how you can turn your ideal future self into a personalized AI coach in just 60 minutes using 3 simple prompts. If you want clarity on your next steps, if you want daily accountability that fits your style and guidance that actually sticks, using the only mentor who truly gets you, you. I know it sounds like a lot, but with Brad, he's very, very generous. He's selling this for $10, but there's also a 100% money back guarantee. So whatever reason you're unhappy with this, Brad's going to refund you. He's not short of money, okay? He's not poor. He's not. And if you want to do a deep dive into AI, learn about AI, how it can help you, your business, your daily tasks. If you want to reset, you can focus on what matters, transform your uncertainties into opportunities. This is the other program you want to be looking into. The only reason why I can tell y'all to get this program, I'm in this program right now. I'm doing this program right now. So I found it to be very, very helpful. For the past couple of years, Brad's been that guy. This is Brad right there. And he spends so much time evaluating different AI tools. What's important, what's not important. And there's the 80-20, but there's also the 80-20 within that 20. You know what I'm talking about? And it's going to help you decipher and orchestrate your life. And look into it. You can also look into his mental frameworks, how he makes decisions, Eisenhower Tower, things like that. So, what else we'll be talking about here? We're going to be talking about the next lesson in Kevin Trudeau's Your Wish is Your Command, which is 4 steps to learning. So if you're on this call, let me know where you're from, okay? What are the 4 steps to learning? We all go through these steps. I'm going to explain what they are. Once again, these lessons seem so simple. It takes about 5 minutes to learn, but a lifetime to master. First part, when you're learning anything, you come from a place of unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. Maybe you're learning how to ride a bike for the first time. You get on that bike. Maybe you don't start on a bicycle. You start on a tricycle, training wheels on. But you're working with people around you. They tell you to put your hands on the handles and place your foot in such places, and you start to pedal, right? You start to develop the neurology for riding a bicycle. And over time, you get a little bit better at it. You have this conscious incompetence. You're looking at your neighborhood kids, and some of your neighborhood kids, they've been riding for quite some time, 6 months, a year, and they're doing a whole bunch of things. Maybe they're popping wheelies. Maybe they are riding their bicycles without their hands on the handles. And you're just thinking, wow, there's so much on riding a bicycle I don't know about. And that's perfectly fine. But over time, you're going to get better and better. You're going to develop something called conscious competence. You know that you know something about riding a bicycle. You're getting better at it. You've installed the neurology for it. And before you know it, you have unconscious competence. You'll be able to get up back on that bike, and then you get a phone call with your friends, and you're not going to be intimidated because you learn how to balance on that bike. The training wheels are off. There was a time I had a bike before, and then it got stolen, so I basically learned how to ride a bicycle using my mom's bike. I still remember I was leaning that bicycle against a wall, right? So I could get on the bike. And from there, I would kick away from the wall, just get some forward momentum going, and I will place my foot on the pedal as soon as I can to get that forward momentum going. We all go through these different steps of learning, from unconscious incompetence all the way to unconscious competence. Doesn't matter if you're riding a bike, if you are driving stick shift, if you are tying your pair of shoes, or if you're using chopsticks for the first time. And these are great places to be at and learn, because when you are on this path of personal development, you are aggressively learning new information, maybe information you've gone through many times. Something's going to unlock, maybe an aha moment. And in that aha moment, you go from a place of unconscious competence. It's almost like you get reset back to a place of unconscious incompetence. And you'll have this iterations of this again and again. And I want you guys to know it's perfectly fine. It's all part of learning. And that's what makes life extremely, I would say, fascinating for me. Because I love to be in that state where, oh, there's more that I could be learning, more that I could be applying. And I continue to do these things. My life is going to improve. My health is going to improve. The trajectory of my bank accounts is going to improve. My relationships are going to improve. So today we'll cover a lot of information. Kevin Trudeau's Your Wish is a Command. The 4 lessons. The first lesson is, who do you listen to? Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. That's the first lesson. What's the second lesson? Second lesson is the Teachability Index. What is your willingness to learn? And what is your willingness to accept change, right? Important lessons. Many people in the personal development niche, they don't really talk about, because they want you to focus on the feel good now. Just doing more affirmations, doing more journaling, assumptions, getting more crystals. If the crystal isn't working, you bought the wrong ones. If you bought the wrong ones, buy harder. But this is where rubber meets the road. You may have that willingness to learn, but what is your willingness to accept change? You have to give yourself a score. If your life is not in the right trajectory, if it's not moving the direction that you want, come back to these lessons. Next part is training balance scale. How you think and how you feel. What is your why at the very core level? Not just a fleeting thought, or I'm going to have some positive mental attitude for 5 to 10 minutes at a time. What are your goals, dreams, attitudes, mental processes, vibration, internal motivation? At the very core, down here in the unconscious thinking or the subconscious. Your true habits, beliefs, values, identity, your creativity, your self-worth, imagination, self-confidence. The dark occult or the parasitic elite, they're very crafty. And if you study any type of writing from Yuri Bezmenov, he talks about ideological subversion. Ideological subversion. What is it all about? How do you break a nation? You break it through programming. They call it TV programming. You were engineered for success, but you've been programmed to fail. How do they program you to fail? And they make you watch these TV shows. This below average folks all day, every day, drinking beer. All they do is talk about a whole bunch of topics that's got nothing to do with bettering their health, bettering their life, bettering their finance, nothing. What else? Just have another good laugh with cheers. What else do we have? Homer Simpson, always drinking beer. Next we have Al Bundy, Married with Children, okay, or The Family Guy. Let me tell you, when I look at the landscape of American culture, people like Nate Jackson, they're really taking off. They are taking off. People love Nate Jackson. And all I have to do, I love watching a Nate Jackson crowd work. If you really want to know what the world is about in the United States, what's happening in the United States, look at these comedians and look at the crowd. That's what America is all about right now. Okay? And most of these guys, they're just living very uneventful lives. Many of them are overweight. Okay? Even the comedian, I mean, most comedians, they're overweight. What else do we have? Renee Bach. I love this guy too. But that basically gives you the state, what the world's taking place right now. People, they just want to be lazy. Okay, people want to be average. They've been installed that dad bod. Right? They do it with the TV programming. They do it through ideological subversion, right? And just silly things that they do on stage. All I can say is, if you want to better your life, you got to change the programming. Once again, how can you get this program for free? Very easy. Show y'all real quick. All you got to do, go to any one of my videos, just tap on this link in the descriptions. Click buy now. Once you click buy now, type in the coupon code YWIYC. Hit apply. Once you hit apply, you can see the discount code has been applied. And come back on top, fill out the contact, payment, bill information, tap complete my order. That's all you have to do. Check your email a little bit. If it's not there, check your spam folder. Drag it back to your inbox. Let me know what questions you have. If you're on this call, I don't know if anybody's here. I want you guys to ask any questions regarding anything that I shared. We cover a lot of content in a short period of time. And I'm just providing the broad strokes on your wish is your command. I'll also give you guys access. Well, you guys can take a quick look on my program here. And unlike Kevin, Kevin's giving this program out for free. Okay. And Brad, he's also generous enough to give you 100% money back guarantee. Both his programs. So it doesn't matter if you're getting his Future Self program or you're getting the 30-day reset program with Brad. He owes some money, get money back guarantee with this. There's no money back guarantee with my program. Okay, if you buy it, then you do the protocol. That's you're gonna have to do it. Because as I said before, most people they buy something and they don't commit to it. So if I price it very low, right, which I've done before, so people buy it, what happens? It just sits there in their downloads folder. Doesn't change their life. And most people, they buy these programs to give them that sense of false progress. That's what really happens. They think they're making progress by getting another PDF in their downloads folder, where they buy another $8 course online, $7 course, $28 course. Well, we already know a lot of information. If you have any questions for me, please put them in the chat box. Put in the chat box, I'll be able to go over. If you don't have any questions in a little bit, then I'll be shutting down this broadcast. I don't even know if I'm trending. Probably not. Your wish is your command. Well, sort of. It's right here. I do have a live. So still, was pretty far down. Okay. Your story is a script. Rewrite the narrative. Okay. And that has a lot to do down here. And I've been on this journey the last couple of weeks. So one thing led to another. I was at this conference. I don't know if I'm going to keep this in the video, but all I'm saying is I've been doing daily meditations. What I discovered is that I had a lot of habits and beliefs that were installed in the subconscious mind that weren't serving me. And I had a lot of unresolved unforgiveness that's definitely holding me back. I had a lot of, I would say, ancestral baggage that was holding me back. And I had to uproot all these things. I had to uproot them. Hey, thanks for coming in. If you have any questions for me, just let me know. So I went to this one conference, and this lady was teaching something called family constellation. Family constellation. You guys can look it up. I never heard about family constellation before. And we did some exercises, and I was like, wow, this is very powerful. I'm going to keep on doing this every single day. So I've been doing it every single day since the 11th of this month. And since then, I've seen a lot of progress in my own YouTube channel. This is a very fairly new, brand new YouTube channel. Let me just show you my stats, okay? Because you've probably never seen me before. That's perfectly fine. But look at my stats. Before I went to this little conference thing, I wasn't getting any views. Over here, what are my views back then? I had 33 views back then. And the last couple of days, I was getting over 1,000 in views. So definitely trending in the right direction. Unconscious thinking is driving everything. There's a lot of ancestral baggage that's holding you back. For example, there was a time my family has a lot of different chronic diseases. When I was growing up, they were telling me it's only a matter of time before you get these chronic diseases. It's only a matter of time. You get hypertension, high blood pressure, or you're going to get diabetes. Diabetes is going to cause kidney problems. Kidney problems is going to cause edema. And I had to sit with that for a long time because when I was young, I didn't know how it all worked. Your families, they've installed a lot of things. Some of them, they were good and positive. Some of them, they're taking you down a very, very dark path. I had to make a choice for myself and say, do I really want to keep the installation of, for example, diabetes or hypertension? How do I fix this at the root? Is it really genetics, or do we have a lot of bad habits we need to course correct? Many people don't want to look at that. So for them, it's like, oh, it's about that time, and I'm going to be on insulin just like my mom or like my dad, like my grandparents. That's the path that they go on. Those are the habits and beliefs and values family have passed down generationally. And it's up to you to decide if you want to keep that programming or you want to rewrite it. Today, what is the title of my YouTube? Your story is a script. Rewrite the narrative. Rewrite the narrative. We need to have a deeper, closer look at the subconscious mind. At the subconscious level, there's a lot of stuff down there. Ancestral programming, maybe programming you identify with in the past, from TV shows, could be from religious doctrines, dogmas, and it's up to you to decide, hey, do I really want to hold on to these beliefs going forward? How do I let go of these beliefs that I no longer want? For me, I did not want to have diabetes get passed down. I started to evaluate my nutrition, right? because my family, they eat a lot of carbs, man. And as people get older and older, they're becoming more sedentary. Of course, your body's going to have a very tough time regulating that blood sugar. But I didn't just stop there. I was like, why is our pancreas messed up, right? You guys can look this up. There's something called Ascaris-induced pancreatitis. Ascaris-induced pancreatitis. Inflammation of the pancreas caused by Ascaris. What is Ascaris? It's a type of roundworm, a parasitic worm. So when your pancreas is getting eaten up by different parasites, the pancreatic cells, so it doesn't have the ability to produce enough insulin. Once again, I may be sharing information that's currently off your radar screen, right? And I've been very, very interested in diving into this topic for the last couple of years. So over here, if I'm talking about human physiology, this is the liver, gallbladder. This is the common bile duct, which is also connected to your pancreas. The pancreas, most people, they have one pancreatic duct. It's called the dorsum. Some people, they may have two, called the Santorini on top. If you have any blockages in this pancreatic duct, then insulin's going to have a very tough time going inside the duodenum where it's needed. Sometimes people may develop a cyst that may be pinching against this pancreatic duct. All these different factors, that is going to mess up your blood sugar levels. Of course, there's also the Ascaris-induced pancreatitis. If you want to type that as Ascaris-induced pancreatitis. Okay. You guys can look this up. Roundworms are very, very common. They're extremely common. Sometimes they can even end up in your liver. A lot of people don't know that. So you guys go study about these life cycles, right? I spent many years going down this path, and I'm still learning, still absorbing. If you want to find information on this for free, you can go to the Library of Congress, go to archive.org. There's a lot of free information online for you to learn parasitology. All for free. All for free. But you have to want it, right? So once again, thanks for jumping on this call. Anybody that may be watching this later. First lesson, who do you listen to? Listen to people who have been where you are and where you want to be. Second lesson, teachability index. What is your willingness to learn? Give yourself a score from 0 to 10. What is your willingness to accept change? Also give yourself a score from 0 to 10. Training balance scale. How do you think and how you feel at a very deep level, not just a fleeting thought? We're trying to keep positive mental attitude for 5 minutes. What are your goals, dreams, attitudes, mental processes, vibration, internal motivation? What's really underneath the surface? What's really under the hood where nobody sees? That's really driving your life. Until we can identify that programming, we can uninstall and reinstall positive programming. 4 steps to learning. You go from a place of unconscious incompetence and you move your way up to conscious incompetence, move your way up to conscious competence, finally to unconscious competence. Now, doesn't matter what you learn, if you really have that tenacity to learn, you may go from a place of unconscious competence, go back to unconscious incompetence. I feel like that many times throughout my journey, going from the picture on the left to the picture on the right. When I was doing that, I had to learn from so many different authors, and maybe I had a specific paradigm I was holding on to, no longer serving me, and I had to upgrade myself on this path. So today, I'm going to close out this call, and your story is the script. We write the narrative. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Have an amazing rest of your weekend, and I'll talk to you soon.